YouTube channel, Tony Harvin. I greet everybody upon this late evening and whatnot. We ain't gonna be on here for too long because I wasn't going to even do this, but I decided to come on here for the most part and have some conversations about what's going on in the news and things of that nature. What's up to everybody out there? Unless y'all got something that y'all want to talk about, whatever you want to talk about, we can chop it up or whatever the case may be. Y'all know my disclaimer, I'm not a pastor preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church, so please do not lay claims of those titles on me. We ain't here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines at all. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now in the middle, and those who want to upload to YouTube. And let's go to the chat room right quick. You know what I mean? Hope everybody had a wonderful day, wonderful evening, and whatnot. We know today is Wicked Wing, or whatever the case may be. What's up to Jay Williams? What up to Solid Ground, Prodigal Son, Helena Russell, and Maxwell, Mercy Carr, Jesus Christ, What Fear. What's up to V. Coleman? Shout out to you. You said notify me. Sometimes I see you come on, but you don't have a side. I don't know. What? I don't understand what you're talking about. What's up to Gwendolyn? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Bless, bless. What's up to Shannon? Shout out to you. All right. Mercy Carr, prayers and blessings and comfort unto you and your family. That Mercy Carr. All right. What's up to Warriors? Shout out to you, SV. Bless, bless, said Druski mocked the Israelite to the T. I don't think that fight will happen between LAILA and Claressa. The IUIC Israelites. Those are the same Israelites that, so-called came to First Church outside of First Church. Same individuals. I'm kind of glad he did that video. Kind of glad he did that video about the IUIC and whatnot, Hebrew Israelites, for the most part, because that's how, they are. I think somebody yesterday on the other channel was trying to take up for the Hebrew Israelites or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And he says you don't think the fight will happen with LAILA and Claressa. Be a good fight though, right? I know what over righteous Christians out there. What y'all doing watching boxing? What y'all doing watching that stuff? What's up to Warrior? Shout out to you. What's up to Simple Moving? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Elaine Small. Shout out to you. What's up to Shemaiah 40? Shemaiah 40. Friday night talk. Whatever's on your mind, whatever you want to talk about, and whatnot, feel free to leave it in the chat room. You know what I mean? I know a lot of times I have these topics and whatnot, and I be talking and stuff like that. I like to hear what the people got to say, what's on your minds. You know what I mean? Sometimes I like to hear that in general, for the most part. Not a problem at Mercy Carr. You understand, times, may happen like this, for sure. Elaine, you says, please pray for us in Jamaica. Jamaica, you referring to the hurricanes. The hurricanes out there in the islands and stuff like that. For sure. Much prayers unto you in Jamaica, for sure. Those out there who's suffering or who's being affected by the hurricanes and whatnot. You know what I mean? We know service came on it. I believe they was out there in the Bahamas not too long ago, whereas though the hurricanes hit that island for the most part. What a time it was with them services and whatnot, especially that one that, with the debate, folks are still talking about that. False prophets. False prophets still talking about it and whatnot. You understand? Listen, if a person think they can handle a debate simple, then hey, if they think they're men enough to handle a debate, You understand? Whether they're a novice or not. You know what I mean? And, you know, Mr. that fella, yeah, he was a novice. But if he think he's man enough and he want to have a biblical discussion, then hey, he's a man. For those out there, that wasn't a kid. That wasn't a little boy. Cat was 25 years old, a grown man. What's up to Kizzy? Shout out to you. What up to DJ Grant? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate that. Back at you. Shemaya says, I've been calling and staying out the way. Same here. I like to stay out the way. You know what I mean? You see all this mess going on with these false prophets and whatnot. Every day they're making a video. Every day. When I just logged on, I see a false prophet live. Every day. You understand? I just want to stay out the way. I like staying out the way. What's up to Sion? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Sandra Williams? Shout out to you. Shemaya said, yes, it's always something with them. Absolutely. Honestly, I don't know why, but I do know why. You know what I mean? What's up to, what is that? K. Richardson? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Elaine Small says, thank you so much. We need it. Well, I hope all gets better. You know, in Jamaica, all those who was affected by the hurricanes and stuff like that. Bernice Baker says, ain't it too many false prophets? They rising up left and right, and the devil, that's why. Yeah, there's many of them, including, you know, the so-called Israelites and whatnot. There's a lot of them out there, for sure. You said they rising up left and right. Right? What's up, the blood of Judah? Blood of Judah. Long time. Blood of Judah. Shout out to you. You know what I mean? Hope all is well. You said, do you still host debates? And shalom to you. Well, we're about to have a non-biblical discussion coming soon. It's going to be a non-biblical discussion coming soon, November 18th. You understand? That's what we're going to have. You know, as far as like debates and stuff like that, discussions, conversations. You know what I mean? November 18th, I'll be back. You understand? It's going to be a pretty interesting conversation. Not a debate, a conversation, a talk. So we'll be back I'll be back November the 18th with that. I'm trying to decide which channel or both channels. We may put it on and whatnot. It's going to be a great conversation, great topic for the most part. You know, Shemaiah says false prophets just want to make a name for themselves, but ruin it at the same time. For sure. Blood of Judah. Long time. Where you been? Hey. Sion, what are you talking about? You said sup. What's up to Kizzy? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. And Kizzy for the most part. So I'm looking to have more, you know, conversations in general for people who are mature. People who know how to have a basic discussion. You know what I mean? It could be about anything. What's going on in the world. Christian, you know, views versus Hebrew Israelite views or atheist views on this matter, whether it's about Donald Trump, whether it's about violence in urban areas and stuff like that. That's what I'm aiming to talk about. You know what I mean? Between two religions and whatnot. I mean, things that's happening in the world for the most part. Not more so biblical discussions for the most part. You know what I mean? So we're definitely looking to have that. SV, what up? He says IUIC needs to get baptized in those purple and gold fringes. Got that right. What's up to Anita Jackson? Shout out to you. Shemaya says, we will be talking about life itself and how we dealing, I guess you meant with it, and which is fine with me. Okay, not a problem. At Shemaya. All right. Exalted Born. What? What are you talking about? You said, I told a shorty on another live channel that I'll slap an angel from heaven to grease her scalp with some shade moisture products. You sound stupid. You know what I mean? I don't know if you think that's funny, but it ain't. For the most part, to the person that wrote that. That's just stupid. That's supposed to be funny? You know what I mean? What's up to Tyree Lewis? Shout out to you. Shemaya said, he said, yes, that's what we need, regular conversations. Yeah. The problem is when you have regular conversations, people may interpret it as a debate. You know what I mean? They may interpret a regular conversation as a debate, which is not that. So this is why I'm just going to flip it, and it's going to be about, you know, things that's going on in the world. Non-biblical conversation. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if we having different religions on here and stuff like that. We're going to hear it from their point of view and somebody to represent, you know, holiness, their point of view about what's going on in this world and whatnot. What's up to Black Mellow? Hottie Jones, shout out to you. Anita Jackson, he says amen to Minister Lionel, doing a great job. Shout out to him. What's up to Levy? Shout out to you. Shemaya says, but we will not be doing that, no debates. I mean, it all depends. You understand? It all depends in the future. You know what I mean? And we'll see what happens for the most part. You know? We'll see. But right now, it's non-biblical conversations that I want to try coming soon for the most part. You know? You already said what's up at Sion. I mentioned you already. What's up to N Maxwell? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You know, but conversations are definitely good to have between two people who may believe in other things. So if we're talking about things that's going on in the world, you know, if you're talking about violence in the urban areas or what Donald Trump got going on or food stamps and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I don't see the problem with having a basic conversation. You know what I mean? You said you come on late. Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to come on. I was going to go to sleep. But I decided to, you know, knock it out maybe 30, 45 minutes or whatever the case may be. We'll see. Shemaya says, I'm talking about the date you set for November the 18th. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, it's not a debate. It's not a debate. Two individuals will be coming on. I ain't going to say the topic yet. I ain't going to put out the topic yet, just yet. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great conversation for the most part. You know what I mean? What is that? Francine says, greetings, brothers and sisters. Have a blessed weekend and stay safe. You too. Appreciate that. What up to David B? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Shemaya says, yes, I'm with you on all that for sure. I mean, it could be about topics like, you know, what we got in the title section. It could be about that. You know, what's the point of view of this person's religion, which I think about this, or which I think about that. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. What's up to Sister T? Shout out to you. David B says, debating brings out the trolls and clowns. You call them Patrick Dork. Yeah, I mean, it can. For the most part, you know, like I said earlier, or in general, a lot of people don't know how to have a simple discussion. You know what I mean? Without it turning it into a debate. You know, what's up to Christopher Span? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You know, appreciate that. So yes, we on late at Sion for the most part, because like I said, I was about to call it a night and just fix it up for tomorrow, Saturday night talk. But we shall see. You know what I mean? What we're doing tomorrow. All right. What else did we miss? Shamaya says it's okay to hear from everyone on what their opinions are. The problem is with that, and some people may be like quote unquote over righteous. It's almost like they don't want no other religions on you know to be talked or have a chance to talk or anything like that. You know what I mean? They gotta understand. You know what I mean? It's conversations. You know what I mean? You can't walk into a barber shop or anything like that and say, listen, I don't want to hear that. Shut up. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's interesting to study, you know, these other religions, not in the sense of wanting to get involved. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to study your opponent at the end of the day. Why these people believe this? You understand that? Why they believe that? You know what I mean? You never know, your conversation could help them see the truth at the end of the day. You know? All right. What up to TNT? Shout out to you. Span says, not going to lie. That Druski skit was funny. Absolutely. I don't know what made him do that. I don't know what made him do that, what triggered him to do that, but that was on point. That was definitely on point for sure. All right, Shemaya says, you said, yeah, you're right. You said, it do. You said, yes, you're right. It do get out of control sometimes, for sure. What's up to Evelyn? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Paulette? Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody out there, even those who are in the background. Shout out to the background people. You know what I mean? Hope all is well with y'all. TNT says, greetings and God bless TOG family. It was good to see Apostle back in the States. Wonderful. For those who don't know, there was service tonight at headquarters for the most part. You know, if y'all haven't, go check that out. It's on a YouTube channel in general. All right. Let me see who else did we miss. Black Mellow says, not funny at all, in reference to the person who made that crazy comment. Shemaya says they was getting down tonight. Said they was getting down tonight for sure. Paulette says, greetings, back at you for sure. Shemaya says, you say you love watching the TOG. Warrior says, Druski buried them. Yep. I want to know what they got to say about that. I really want to know. You understand? I mean, although he's a comedian or whatever the case may be, what he put out was true. It was funny, but it was true. You know what I mean? Right? Let me see. I'm just scrolling up and down. Excuse me. So, okay. K. Richardson, he says, how do we not participate in these pagan holidays that's coming up? You asked the question. You says, how do we not participate in these pagan holidays coming up? But some people are still struggling with it. You know what I mean? Some people are. Some people still celebrate it. You know what I mean? For the most part. You said, I want to get away from them. Pagan holidays. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure some people can you know, share their testimony about getting away from holidays. You understand? And there's people out there who have, you know, quote unquote pros and cons or whatever the case may be about it. You know what I mean? Especially with Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Now, Halloween is something that's just pure, you know, wickedness in general. Pure wickedness. Pure. Paulette says, save your money, I say. For sure. Shemaiah says, how have you been? Great. Sleepy, but, you know, great thus far. Very sleepy right now. Nature's Flower says, what if you're dating someone that celebrates Christmas but you don't? That's funny. That is funny. Listen, I advise you go get advice from a minister. You know what I mean? Please, go get advice from a minister and whatnot about that. You understand? You talking to somebody and they may believe in God and stuff like that, but they may need to tweak some things, right? Just like we had to tweak some things. You know, so would you blame a person, or would you like get on them, or would you leave them? You understand? Because at one point we was unequally yoked ourselves. You understand? We wasn't always perfect at the end of the day. So I can't speak for other people, because any man out here, of course, you got to go find a wife or whatever the case may be. She ain't gonna be 100%. Listen, you ain't gonna find a woman that is put together 100%. It's gonna be something, even if they ain't holiness. It's gonna be something. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, y'all two have talks and stuff like that about whatever. That's between y'all two. Y'all talk that out. I'd say talk that out. Speak with a minister and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you know. You said you said something. I say, you know. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? I'm being honest. There's a lot of men in here. I don't care if you're in the TOG right now. There's a lot of men in here. If they see a sister that they're interested in, she could be fine as ever. Now, relationship talk, I'll talk on this channel. The other one, not really. You understand? This channel, I'll talk about it. Hey, listen, if you see a fine sister that you're interested in, you understand? You know? That you're interested in. What you gonna do? If you say, listen, I celebrate Christmas. You know what I mean? What you gonna do? You ain't even give her a chance you ain't even talk to her. Because you never know. She might say, listen, all right, I understand what you're talking about. I'll work on it. You know what I mean? You never know if a sister or a woman is going to work on something, willing to meet you somewhere. You know what I mean? But if you're a brother and you worried about Christmas and stuff like that, you got to worry about yourself. You better have it together. You better have it together, brother. You better know about responsibilities, taking care of the household, huh? Being a man, working, your credit score, huh? Your credit score at 700, 800, huh? You worried about pagan holidays? That's cool, but do you got it together as a man? Yeah, I see a lot of these over-righteous people out here. Okay, it's cool to profess holiness and whatnot. Listen, Gino teaches that. Yeah, you could be in the church and stuff like that, but do you got it together as a man? Huh? Can you take care of the whole household if she ain't working? Shout out to Christopher Wright. Christopher Wright. The man said you got to have at least $5,000 in the bank. Can you pay rent by yourself? Can you get a house by yourself, fella? How about that? Can you pay rent by yourself? Huh? Earth to those men out there. Huh? Yeah, you can profess holiness, but again, do you have it together? Imagine a man who don't got it together, but he's professing holiness. That's cool. Man, I want this in a woman. I want that in a woman. I want all this stuff. But he's living in his mother's basement. He's sleeping on his mother's couch. Ain't that something? Have it together, fellas. Have it together. You know? If you never lived by yourself, paying rent or mortgage, bills, you don't know no responsibilities at all. It's cool to profess holiness. That's cool. That's great. But you still got to do some learning as a man. You understand? You still got to know manly duties, manly responsibilities. So fellas out there who's professing holiness, that's cool. You know, you got it together spiritually. That's fine. You know, we don't celebrate, pagan holidays and stuff like that, or some people are working on it or whatever. That's fine. That's cool. You know what I mean? But that's not going to pay bills. Sitting on the couch, yeah, man, I don't celebrate Christmas. Imagine that. You just sitting on the couch watching the TOG, but you sitting on your mother's couch. Wow. That's something, man. Imagine that. All these provisions out here. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash. You know what I mean? You go cut the grass somewhere at a neighbor's house. Yo, I got 5 kids. I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the hard way. I had to get up and go walk to work an hour and back. You understand? Walk to work an hour and back. In any type of weather. You understand? Thank God these kids are older. Folks is going to college and whatnot. Woo! I had to learn the hard way. Ah, man. So to the fellas out there with babies, and you got about 5 babies and stuff like that, 4 or 5 or whatever, it's a rough road. You understand? But to the fellas with no kids, and you don't know about responsibilities, right. Miss me with all that stuff. You know what I mean? So all the sanctified and Holy Ghost filled and Father baptized and all that, that's cool, that's fine. You know what I mean? Learn those manly duties. Do you know how to power wash a house? Huh? As a man, do you know how to power wash a house? Do you know how to mow the lawn? Do you? Huh? You know? Ah, man. Do you know how to pay the rent, the mortgage, your car note, car insurance, health, dental, vision, electricity, buy food for yourself, your kids if you got some, gas, oil changes, car maintenance. You might have some student loans. Come on now. There's responsibilities as a man that you gotta have. People could speak all that church stuff. That's cool. That's cool. But ain't no real sister that's gonna sit around and listen to you talk about church all day and you ain't provide nothing. You sitting there talking about church all day. You speaking the truth, but you're lazy. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, please. Can somebody tell me, does this sound right if I'm a sanctified brother, but I don't got it together? I'm looking for a wife, and I don't even know what paying rent is like. You know what I mean? I don't know. Now, welfare or whatever food stamps is ending, I believe, for temporarily time. Listen, some fellas got to get off their feet now. Got to get off your feet now and go work. You understand? So shout out to all the brothers out there. You know what I mean? So if you trying to court a sister, right? And she say, listen, I celebrate this, I celebrate that. I'm into horoscopes, all that. There could be some sisters in the church, in or outside of the church. If you a brother and you ain't got it together, you don't need to be saying nothing. Simple. Work on yourself first. Get it together first. You know what I mean? Let me go to a video, man. Let me see if I can find that video of Gino talking about something. Might be on the, is that on the third channel? Might be. Y'all done got me started. I was sleepy. I was real sleepy. I was about to fall asleep. I think this is the one right here. Is this the one? This might be it. I was about to go to sleep, man.
One, not allow yourself to get distracted. You single sisters, you in college. One, not allow yourself to get distracted by some young man. You get knocked up and get pregnant. Now you gotta drop out of school. And you stuck to take care of baby that in most cases, he will not contribute nothing. Don't let him talk love and love you out of college. And here you in your last semester, and here comes Bartholomew. You're in your last college semester. So, we often encourage our young sisters everywhere. One, get established in your education. Two, get established in your job. Three, if you're going to have a bank account, make sure you have one. Now, this is where these false apostolics come in at. Do you know some of these apostolic bishops said to their members, it's a sin to have a bank account? Really? Well, please tell me how you have a church account.
That's another one, a bank account. That's another one, a bank account. Brothers out there who's looking to court a sister, you got a bank account? Huh? What can you bring to the table? As a man, you got to be the leader, right? So when PJ was talking about how he take care of his wife, like when I first was watching The Truth of God and I heard that, I'm like, what is this guy talking about, man? I don't know about that, PJ. I don't know. This was years ago. Now I get it. I understand it now. I understand it now for sure. So I wouldn't mind taking care of my future wife, if the Lord permits. I wouldn't mind. You understand? I wouldn't mind at all. Bank account. You know? Because there be a lot of fellas on Facebook and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure they looking at the sisters on from First Church. They looking at them, liking their pictures. You know, some sisters on here probably got those brothers always liking your picture, commenting. They commenting your picture, liking your picture all the time, inboxing you. How you doing, sister? Such and such. Did you read the book of John? Get out of here with that. Just tell her you interested in her. Simple. You know what I mean? Easter says if the table don't fit 4 legs, flip it. You know what I mean? Because folks always want to talk about the relationship thing on the other channel. This channel, I got time on here. He said overdraft fees and holiness. Overdraft fees and holiness. Let me get through these comments right quick. What's up to Barbara Mosley? Shout out to you. David B says, wife equal relationship talk. Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure, at David B. A real woman wants to know, listen, can you provide? Not that she's greedy or a gold digger, but as a man, fella, you got to provide, man. What's up to Knowledge? Shout out to you. Samaya said, that's tough because it's going to be some stuff going on. David B says, walk away if he or she is not willing to accept the truth. Listen, that's cool. What if they accept it, but what if they accept the truth? They understand who you follow and things of that nature. But it will take them some time. Remember, it's the Lord that cleans a person up, right? You know what I mean? It's going to be something that you as a man or whoever disagree. It's going to be something you disagree. You know what I mean? Just like PJ, you know, talk about, you know, him and his wife, you know, how they have, you know, little situations and whatnot. But it takes 2 mature people to come to a solution. The solution may come years after. You know what I mean? So yes, conversations is good at David B and whatnot. There's some people out there that will accept, you know, the truth, but it may take them time to get cleaned up or get to where we are. You know what I mean? It's up to you, you know, those out there as a brother. Are you going to be patient with that woman? I mean, the Lord was patient with you. Are you going to be patient with that woman? If you say, listen, I understand, I accept what you believe in and whatnot, just give me some time. But don't force it on her. Why force something on this woman right here? Why force it on her? Because if a man force things on this woman, he's going to do it to the other woman. And guess what? That's going to turn them away. Even if they are in holiness, you force something on a woman, that's a turn off. That's a turn off for a woman. And turn off, it doesn't have to be physically. It could be a mental or emotional turn off. You know what I mean? That's a form of controlling. David B. funny, man. Oh, man. Y'all is funny. David B. says, I have some lint in my pockets, those that count. All right. TNT says, better not be courting a sister if you on mama's couch. Wow. Laziness. You know what I mean? If he falling on hard times and stuff like that, he got no choice, but he trying to get back on his feet, fine. But to the lazy fellas out there, Paulette says, make sure he can hold a job or two. Absolutely. Paulette said, Tony in the book tonight. You funny. You know? What up to Indoor? He says, what is bumming? What I miss? Oh, TNT says, better go work at Chuck E. Cheese or something. Oh, yeah. Something. There's a lot of jobs out here. It's a lot of people that's hiring for the most part, you know. If you don't have a car, listen, Uber, I think Lyft provides, you can rent out a car to do Lyft. You know? David B said, there's no need to try and hook with someone who's not on the same journey as you. You know what? I kind of disagree with that. I kind of disagree. Because you and I was once not there. You understand? If that person is not on the same journey, whatever the case may be, you said if they accept the truth. Now, if you have that conversation with that woman, and you say, listen, I accept the truth, right? Because you're going to have a conversation about religion. If she's willing to accept the truth and willing to take some time and, you know, be patient with her to come over to what, you know, you and I believe in, you think that's a problem or issue at David B? Because, listen, we was once not in the truth. You understand? We was once there. So I'm trying to understand, you know, meet on common grounds at David B. This is a good conversation right here, though. TNT says 5 is no joke. It's not. 5 kids ain't no joke. You understand? It ain't. Especially if it's like the beginning. I feel for you brothers out there who just starting off. You got 4 or 5. I feel for you. You know what I mean? I feel for you. You know? Seriously. Thank God college days are here. Thank God. Even you still got to pay for college. Imagine that. 5 tuitions. You know, they still got to hold down a fort. You know what I mean? There's no excuses. None. You know? Indoor says, I remember riding my bike 20 miles there and back. Yeah. Indoor says, I got 3. It's a rough road for sure. Absolutely. What's up to your name is the Son of Man. Okay. Mercy Carr said, that's a real man, brother. When you get out here walking, it's all for the love of your children. Absolutely. Absolutely. As a man, definitely take care of your children. As a man. And a lot of men out here on here had kids out of wedlock. Let's just be honest. You had kids out of wedlock. We had kids out of wedlock. You hear me? We. Me and other men out here. Be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? See, I could be honest with myself. But guess what? You still got to take care of them. You still got to take care of them. Still. You know what I mean? You might have had a drunken night and you woke up with that woman. That woman you don't even know. She had a baby by you. You still got to take care of that child. Still. Even if you had a baby with a sister in the church. I think that's what the that minister was talking. Well, I ain't gonna call him a minister when he came on the other channel. The informant. He said that another brother had a baby with his sister. Had a wedlock or something like that. You still got to take care of that baby. There's no exempts from that. Yeah, people going to talk about you and stuff like that. Yeah, people going to say, oh, he had a baby at a wedlock. He's supposed to be professing holiness. Yeah, people going to talk about you. They're going to do it. That's what people do. But your responsibility as a man, take care of that child or take care of them kids that you made. You know what I mean? Never mind what they say. Endor says they can't even power wash their armpits, let alone a house. Paulette says keep a credit score 2. Absolutely. Sion says make it make sense. What up the Warriors says quit being lazy. TNT says they done took the food stamps. 2025 is a trip. Food stamps are gone. I mean, I never had them, you know. But shout out to the people who really need them. All right. Indoor says you can always play Minister Abraham talking about bums. Shout out to Minister Abraham Aviles. What up to Esther? He says Tony said y'all don't need to be saying nothing for sure. That's absolutely. Listen, like I said the other day or yesterday, stay out those women inboxes, right? If you're married. I said that, right? That's another thing right there. Stay out the inboxes. You know? If you married to a sister in the church and you sit next to a woman that I don't know how you're interested in her, you're married, stay out of the inbox. You know what I mean? You got a whole wife at home. You got all them thighs and legs at home. You trying to get with another sister. That's crazy. Barbara says, I'm a little Miss Muffin sitting on a bucket. I only have a penny piece of candy. Huh? Where you get that from? Sion says, Bartholomew is a funny name. I think that's in the Bible, right? I think that name in the Bible. I think. Indoor says, you fellas ready to have a joint account? A joint account? Oh, absolutely. That's pretty interesting. Of course, me personally would have like a separate account and a joint account. That's fine. You know what I mean? Of course, both got to be financially intelligent. You know? It'd be wise to have a joint account for like bills, emergency, or vacations and stuff like that. You know, at one point, I did not want a joint account. Like, I would never do that. But, you know, you got to think about these things when you get older and you start analyzing some stuff. You know? What's up to Double M? Shout out to you. Bruh, man, you asked the question. Listen, I like to talk about everything. I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? Folks come on here and say this and say that about me. I talk about it. Don't bother me none. You know? I've seen videos. I'm honest. Bruh, man, I've seen videos and whatnot. You understand? It's not no AIs or anything. But if people are grown, right? If my son is 30 years old and he's out there doing whatever, what do I have to do with that? He's on his own. You understand? That's just my take on it. You know, when you're in the public's eye, whether you're a YouTuber, whether you're a pastor, whatever the case may be, people are going to dig deep. You understand? Whether it's in your family, your friends, your bank account. Yeah, bank account. Why? Because you might have somebody working at a bank who you bank with. You never know. It's a small world. People will look into your information if you are in the public's eye. This is what I learned about social media and YouTube. I could say, wow, these people searching my information, background checks and stuff like that. You know what? I had to come to grips. This is what people are going to do if you are in the public's eye. They're going to search these things out. You understand? So to you, bruh, man, I've seen videos. I'm pretty sure some people in here seen the same videos. Listen, like I always say, nobody's exempt. Nobody. You know? But it's a sad thing that people got to stoop that low. You know what I mean? If my child is grown, listen, I taught him well. Whatever the case may be, I got videos on here of me and my kids talking, having conversations and stuff like that. Now, if he gets 35 and he just, I don't know, become a drug dealer, Lord forbid, they're going to blame me, right? They're going to blame me. You know? So people tend to ask that question often. They ask it often. You know what I mean? And you got to answer it honestly, if you're honest with yourself. Answer it honestly, if you're honest with yourself. You know what I mean? But I think Gino talked about it already. Somebody had the clip up. Some YouTuber had the clip up of him talking about it. You know what I mean? Who was the person who had that video up? You know what I mean? So I don't know why you asked the question in here where there's a video out there where it's mentioned already. I don't get it. Why they ask questions when the answers is already out there where he's talked about it already? You understand? My thing is this. You can't have one foot in and one foot out if people are in church or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? I don't knock on people's doors. Excuse me, are you a Skittle? I don't do that. I don't go around snooping to see if somebody's kids is looking at their lifestyle. That's not my thing. I don't care about that. That's not my business. You know what I mean? I don't do those things. But there's people on the internet that do. But I don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't do that. I don't follow them. I don't follow them on social media or anything like that. I don't pay no mind to that. At the end of the day, you understand? I hope the best for everybody. You says when kids get grown, they have their own mind. Doesn't mean it wasn't raised right. For sure, absolutely, I agree with that. But you know, people will try to use any and everything on a preacher man that's preaching truth. They will try to find any and everything. You know what I mean? This is how the public is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is what they do. You know what I mean? But I'm not worried about nobody's kids or anything like that. That's not my business. You know what I mean? I don't care. But if you got like Dwayne Wade's son, he's in the public eye. That's to the public. You know what I mean? Will Smith's son, it's to the public. But let's just say Will Smith's son, we didn't know who Will Smith was, more so. or we didn't know who his son was, but people go snooping. That's something different right there. That's real different. I'm not gonna go snoop to see who is what's their sexuality. That's not my thing. You know what I mean? I didn't know Magic Johnson had a Skittles son. I didn't know that until they put it, till he came to the public. I didn't go snooping around. I don't do that. You know what I mean? But for anybody who's in the church, not specifying a church, but in general, right? If you are doing certain things in your lifestyle, then you have to worry about that with the Lord. You speaking about dating a cheerleader or whatever the case may be. Why are people so concerned about that? Wow. I don't get that. Help me to understand. You know what I mean? Fella dating a cheerleader, if that's true. I mean, I've seen videos, whatever the case may be. I don't know how old they are. You know what I mean? Wow, people more concerned about people's lifestyles than their own. Listen, people don't got their own lifestyle together. Ain't that something? They don't got their own lifestyle together. I'm not concerned about nobody's lifestyle besides my kids, right? Because if they ain't got it together, what you worried about somebody else's lifestyles for? There's some of the same people that's worrying about other people's lifestyles and stuff like that. Most likely their lifestyles is worse than the persons that they're worried about. Ain't that something? Wow. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm gonna answer that. At bruh man. What kind of name is that? All right. Trish. You said, what do you think about Prophetess Celestial? Who's that? I never heard of that person. I don't know. Let me look that up. Prophetess Celestial. I'm gonna try to find that. That's my first time seeing her. I don't really know what she's about. I don't know what she's about more so. So what is that woman about? Is this her right here? I'm gonna play a little bit. Let me know if this is her.
Be told that because the game you're playing, remember, no matter what game you play, when you hear these messages, no matter what game you play, unless you play the right one, you've already lost. The game you're playing is, can I win it? That's what you're.
Okay. Whatever. Is that her? All right, kind of backed up in the comments. Endor says, a man definitely appreciate a humble sister who don't lose their minds in adversity. But that don't mean you got to take her through the struggles. Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. We're going to get back to it in a bit. This thing ain't working. All right. What is that? You says a lot of women financially turn you off. Well, that's on you. Wow. That's a dumb comment right there. At AB. If a woman is making that money, hey, I'm fine with that. You know, if she make more than me, I'm fine with that. Ain't got no problem. Ain't got no say out of me. Go on, girl. Do your thing. You know, if you're nursing, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, do your thing. It don't bother me. You know? All right. What's up to Mrs. Ann? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Walter? Shout out to you. Argentina. I don't know what that person is talking about. What's up to Scarlett? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Otis? Shout out to you. TNT says Super Skittle. What's up to Black Rain? All right, SV says a lot of the internet trolls pull up old videos or pictures from years ago of FC TOG members of things that we repented and overcame. Oh yeah. Right about that. You know, so yeah, I've seen you know, a lot of things in reference to, you know, first church members and stuff like that, like you said, SV. And I think Gino talked about that too. I'm gonna try to find a video on it right quick. Hopefully I got it. Whereas though he talked about how the enemy will pull up old things about you. Let me see. Is that it? Nope, that ain't it. Trying to find it right fast for y'all right quick. Right there, got that. So as I'm scrolling through these notes, all right, I think this is it right here. Nah, that ain't it. I like what you said at SV. And that's another thing that I think Gino says, clean up your Facebook. You know, because a lot of people still got that stuff up. And you know, these false prophets and stuff like that, they will still, it doesn't matter if it's 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they will still use those videos, those pictures on you in these days. You know what I mean? That make it seem like you still are doing it and whatnot. You know? They'll try to find something on you. They'll go through your social media. They'll look at your family social medias, your friends, to see who you tagged in. They'll look through all that, man. They will look through all of that on you. And it's a sad thing. You know what I mean? That they will stoop that low just to try to find something on you. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. Is that it? I have it. Indoor says, don't marry or court a woman you can't trust. I agree with that. That I agree with, for sure. You know what I mean? Definitely agree with that one. You know, trust is a major thing. All right? Esther says, when kids get grown, they have their own mind. Doesn't mean they wasn't raised right. David B says, where's Flemings? I haven't heard from her in a while. I believe she's in Jamaica. I haven't heard from her in a while. You know what I mean? Let's hope all is well with her. At Georgina Fleming. She might be in the background. Just don't want to say that. You know? If you're in the background, Flemings, shout out to you. For sure. V. Coleman says, I need to clean my old pages I used to have in different names. How can I do that? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's rough. That's rough right there. TNT says, delete. I don't know. G. Swole says, it's working Uber on Halloween and strengthening the hands of people do it when I'm not in control of their drop-offs and I'm just trying to make extra money. He says Uber? Uber. You say you're trying to make extra money at I'm trying to find that video. I can't even find that video. I don't know what's going on. Once I find that video, I'm knocking off. I'm getting up out of here. So let's see if we can find the answer for you at G Swole. Where is that video at, man? Oh. Can't find it for you, G Swole. Okay, I found it. Here we go. G Swole. G Swole. We're gonna go to this video for you. I wanna go to this video for G Swole. This is Truth for God broadcast. 1825. Timestamp. 128.40. 128.40 for you.
One fella said that it doesn't have nothing to do with Jesus and being justified by thy words, thou shalt be condemned. Those. Are you listening?
Romans chapter 12 and verse 17.
That's what?
Recompense to no man evil for evil.
Recompense to no man.
Evil for evil.
Evil for evil.
Provide things honest.
Wait, I said.
Wait, I say.
You better read that again.
Recompense to no man evil for evil.
And how should we make provisions?
Provide things honest.
Don't go breaking up on me now.
Amen.
Provide things
honest, honest in the sight of all men.
If you don't have a refrigerator in your home, or you need a new stove, and your son's selling drugs, and you know he is, and with that drug money he bought that stove and refrigerator, you can't accept it.
That's right.
Because that's dishonest. That's blood money.
That's right.
Children and mothers and fathers and sons and daughters are dying from that drugs.
Oh yeah.
Do it.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men.
Oh, we got a fleet of buses.
Amen.
I can't let no false church rent our bus to go to anything that's not of God. We can't rent our buses out to take senior citizens to go gamble in Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's right.
And to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
If I start my own bus company, I can't bus you in no location that's contrary to the Bible. If I have my own Uber, I can't take you to a club or a bar.
G Swole, where you at? G Swole, where you at? This for you.
Can't bust you in no location that's contrary to the Bible. If I have my own Uber, I can't take you to a club or a bar. If I do, I'm strengthening the hand of the evildoer, and I'm a sinner.
That's right.
I ain't say it, G Swole. I just played the video for you. I just want to, let you know that I just played the video for you. You understand? You asked the question, I played the video. For you, G Swole.
right.
I have to be honest.
Honest.
Where do you want to go? Club 69. I don't take you there. I can't take you there.
That's right.
You can't? Yeah, I don't take you there.
Club 69. Why?
My religious belief. I don't go to places like that.
That's
But you may not go there, but I want to go and get another Uber.
Get another.
Well, G Swole says, I hear the PJ on that, but Uber doesn't tell you the place you're taking the passenger to. Well, I don't know about Uber. I know about Lyft. And like I said before, a long time ago, I'm not originally from Charlotte. So it shows you the address, but I don't know where they're going. So you might be right at G Swole. I don't know how Uber works. But it doesn't tell you, you're right. On Lyft, it doesn't tell you the exact place where they're going. It don't. You know what I mean? So you're right. But if you know that address, if you know that address is the Sugar Shack, you know what I mean? If you know, at G Swole, would you still take the passenger or not? All right? Shannon says, drive up, see them dress up in a costume, drive away. Shannon says, best bet, don't drive on Halloween. At night, at least. There's some strong stuff right here. Strong stuff. And we're going to end it off like that. If you got any last closing remarks, feel free to leave it in the chat room as we close this thing out. Great conversation. Friday night talks. You know what I mean? Great conversation. We talked about a lot and whatnot. You understand? Barbara Moses says, warning, warning. David B says, I see. Trolls are aggravating. David B is funny. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. Shannon, shout out to you. What is that? Johnny J. Taylor, shout out to you. Hope all is well. All right, good night to everybody. Hope everybody have a wonderful sleep. Tony Harvin signing off. I'm out. Peace.